Welcome back, everyone, to Vox Markets. My name is Paul Hill, and by popular demand, I'm delighted again to be able to speak to CEO Sandy Chadha of Supreme, a leading brand owner, licensor, distributor of FMCG products across sort of key categories like vaping, batteries, lightings, and sports and nutrition. So, welcome, Sandy.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, well, massive congrats on today's upgraded trading statement with adjusted EBITDA expected to be about 13% higher than existing consensus at between sort of 28 to 30 million pounds. So maybe we can start there, Sandy. What's been sort of driving the terrific top line growth?
It's a combination. The core business is performing extremely well across all our categories, and that equates to, I think, 1.5 million of that. And then obviously the new deal that we've struck with Alpha's motoring ahead. So it's a combination of all aspects, really. I said on the last call that a lot of our tailwinds are now our headwinds, and you can see that in our numbers.
And is it mainly the growth has mainly been sort of volume, or has it been price, or a bit of both? Because obviously your top line is certainly really motoring.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of both. The revenue is green. I mean, you look, the consensus now is up to 205.
Mm.
So yeah, no, it's a combination of both volume and revenues, and also you can see it's falling straight to the bottom line, right? So
Yeah.
the net margins are also now increasing. Economies of scale is our platform that's working at its best.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you've pushed everything into your manufacturing and distribution into that new centre, haven't you, Trafford Park? How's that going?
It's really going well. We've slicked our operation, and we'll see a lot of efficiencies hopefully in the second half of this year. But yeah, no, we're really happy with it at the moment.
Yeah, good. And also in terms of sort of like, you've got the cost of living crisis. You've got people like me who are sort of like, you're rubbing a few coppers together and we're looking for some good value brands. I'm guessing the Supreme sort of categories that really sort of caters to, excellent value at an affordable price.
Exactly, highest quality at the lowest prices in the market.
Mm.
And that's been our sort of the game plan all along. Is
Yeah.
to give the customer the value for money, and a lot of people are now sort of downgrading down to our products so that they much more affordable for them.
Mm. Good. Okay. And then just sort of moving on to sort of like it's been a lot of unfair criticism across the press, a bit of sort of like jingoism as much as anything on the whole vaping industry. Could you just remind investors what sort of existing best in class sort of procedures that the company's doing? I know with underage and likewise with sort of like cleaning up, potential selling and by, retailers or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, going back when we started selling vaping in 2013, it was a clear direction to stop cigarette smokers, of 11 million of them, and convert them to vapors. Recently, over the last couple of years, the last 18 months particularly, a lot of children have been having access to this, and it's become more of a lifestyle for adults too. It's not how we anticipated how it was going to go. In terms of actually what we're doing as a company, we're making sure, number one, that our products do not get in the hands of children in whatever way possible. All our main customers, our major retailers, all have a 25 age policy, meaning that you've got to look age of 25 or they won't serve you. The other thing we're doing is we're checking not only our own products, but we're checking our third-party brands we distribute and making sure that all of them have the right amount of nicotine, have the right fill quantity, and have no illegal substances. Carcinogenics or any carcinogenics is forbidden in an e-cigarette. So we just need to make sure that nothing is in there that shouldn't be. And we do that periodically with our own lab, but with third-party testing, and our retailers love it.
Good, excellent. And then sort of like just moving to sort of like disposable vapes, etc. Now that again, that's got a lot of sort of like unfair criticism in the press. I did see you've just launched or you're launching a sort of like a reusable vaping pod, aren't you? Could you just again sort of like talk about what you're doing in that area?
I mean, the disposable, there's been a lot of speculation around this now. To be clear, it is 100% speculation at this point. Government has not announced anything at this stage, and there's 35 million pounds a week worth sold of disposable vapes. 35 million every week in the UK. So I think the government will have a look at this in terms of restricting some of it. I don't think it'll be a ban. I really don't think so. However, even if there is a ban, or even if there is some restrictions, we have our new pod system that looks and feels like a disposable. It vapes as well as a disposable, but it's very good for the environment because the pods are removable and replaced. So it is a cost saving, and it's for the consumer as well as it's good for the environment. And we're ready to go with that in November. And this is a new updated version. It is as good as quality as the current disposable on the market. And it's just a lifestyle change. It's just a change in people's consumer habits. When one is not available, they'll move to what is available.
Yeah, as long as as long as the company is sort of serving the consumer in both aspects and what's required. I mean, that makes
The consumer's got three choices. They can either go cold turkey, they can go back to cigarettes, or they can move to an alternative. And that's what we think most of them will do.
Yeah. Okay. Just sort of hypothetically, if the government decided on the underage side to introduce sort of plain packaging, or even potentially banning fruit flavors, again, how would the company respond, and how do you think it might it sort of proceed? Again, totally sort of theoretical.
I mean, 60% of our sales are menthol and tobacco currently anyway.
Yeah.
The 40%, I mean, if there is a restriction on flavors, I think wherever the restriction goes to, that's where our market will go. I can't see how people will go back to cigarette smoking if they haven't got a full choice, a suite of products.
Yeah.
The other thing you mentioned about plain packaging, we did a YouGov survey, and something like 90% or 95% of adults said, even if it's plain packaging, we're happy to buy it. In fact, they prefer it. I mean, they're not bothered about the colourful packaging.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, I don't vape myself, but I see a lot of people who are adults who have fruit flavored vapes. I mean, they actually like it, and if you just put plain packaging on or restricted advertising, there'd be no dissimilar to any of the others. Sort of like tobacco or potentially even a lot of the stuff on the alcohol and stuff like that.
No, I agree with you. I don't think there'll be any issues at all with plain packaging or restricted flavor. I think the market will just adapt accordingly. It'll make our factory a lot more easier and simpler and efficient.
Good. Okay, then just finally, then in terms of the cash, I did notice you not only is the profits and the sales going up, but you're also sort of like having a cash man. And I think in March, if I'm correct in thinking, you had net cash excluding sort of IFRS 16 leases of about £3 million positive. So I'm guessing what you're seeing is that it's you're seeing that moving in a higher direction.
Well, you see, don't forget we've grown our revenues significantly. So, and these revenues are grown from paying upfront for a lot of our products, and I think that the effect on the half year will be a really good one, even with that in mind. And the other thing to consider is that Supreme are very good at managing stock. And stock is cash, right? Yeah. So if we manage our stock really well, then yes, that you will see that a lot of it will turn into cash.
Good. And what are you going to do with the extra cash? Are you going to sort of like you've been very good at your sort of opportunistic M&A, or are you going to increase the dividend, or a bit of both, or wait and see?
I think wait and see, but we've got options. I mean, if we've got a lot of surplus cash, we can look at buying things and put it to use. We could give a big dividend. We could do all sorts. I mean, there is no decision made at this stage. Let's just see. Let's see what happens on the opportunities that are available.
Brilliant. Okay, well, big congrats again, Sandy. Thanks for updating the market, and really looking forward in touching base again when the interims are published. And likewise, hearing how the business is continuing to lead the industry in sort of like the best practice, and particularly on the vaping side, both underage and with the environmental aspect. So big congrats again, and speak to you in a couple of months' time.
Thank you, Paul.